Welcome back to the Street Parking Podcast. Today's episode I'm super excited about because we are here with one of the OG of OG street parking members, Christine Young, who has over 3,000 logged workouts and over 2,000 logged days, for those of you that know the difference in the story behind that, which we'll get into. And she's been a member since the very beginning. She's very well known in the community for her fitness, for her snarkiness, and just for being an all-around like beacon in street parking. So Christine's here with us this week because we're about to launch round 2 of the 2023 Vault, all the team workouts, and she was my teammate earlier today. We won't give away what the workout was because this podcast will probably come out before that does. But yeah, I mean, it's a team version of Deshret, which people already know what that is, which was fun. And we did the workout with Blair and Julian, but now we get to chat with Christine and get to know what is in the mind of someone who has done 3,000 workouts in 6 years, which most people, strive to be as consistent as you are and stuff. So hello.
Hello.
To warm you up a little bit, let's just do a couple like random questions.
Okay.
Number one of the things that you're known for is that you're constantly chewing gum. Where did the gum come from?
I think the gum came from, I was a big half marathon runner and I didn't ever want to stop for water or carry water on me. So I would chew gum every like 3
work?
miles. Yes, it worked.
You would get a new stick?
Yes, I would have like a fanny pack full of gum. And
you've just done it ever since?
I've done it ever since.
Do you take a full stick or a half stick? I'm a half stick chewer.
It's a full stick.
Because that's why you're chomping so aggressively.
Yes.
And so is this just something that you do in workouts, or you use it all day long you're chomping?
No, just workouts.
Okay. And then before we started, you told me that there's one specific brand and flavor that you go for. What is it?
Yeah. It's
Are you sponsored?
Spearmint. I wish. I don't even know what it's called now. I hashtag it sometimes.
Is it like double mint?
No, it's spearmint.
Wow, Christine.
I don't remember the name of the gum. It starts with an E.
Extra.
Yeah, extra.
Extra challenge,
Yeah.
extra gum. Okay, so great. If you've ever watched one of Christine's workout videos, she's like just chomping away. And I'm always like, I don't know how she's chomping and doing the movements at the same time. Because I've definitely used to use gum for the same reason in like competition and stuff if I felt like I was getting dry mouth. But I don't feel like I was actively like chewing it like mid thruster or something like that. I feel like it was just kind of there. And then like when I was chalking up or whatever.
I don't chew when I go upside down, and I don't chew.
What about like pull-ups?
No, I usually put it inside of my mouth so that I'm not chewing and so that I don't choke.
Have you ever accidentally swallowed gum during a workout?
Never.
Have you ever accidentally spit it out?
No.
Have you ever had a workout where you felt like you needed to grab for a second stick?
Oh, yes.
But not the marathons, like a street parking workout.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
Do you remember which workout? I mean, because I feel like that's
probably
a very
one of the
strong
longer,
yes.
like 20-minute EMOM.
So some people go for the chalk bucket, you go for the second stick. Do you leave the first stick in or do you take it out?
That has to go.
It's the fresh stick.
Yes.
Okay, so you have two kids. Yes. How old are they?
21 and 17.
Okay. And they don't really work out with you, but your husband does.
My son worked out with me a lot when he was like 3 or 4 years ago.
I feel like I remember that.
Especially during the pandemic.
Okay.
They weren't
what else
at
is he
school,
going to do?
And he worked out all the time with me. But he doesn't anymore because...
He's basketball, though.
Yeah. And his coach pulled him back from working
You can't work out with your mom anymore? She's too aggressive?
Too much, no like lunging, squatting before basketball games.
That's, okay.
Yeah.
But you and your husband used to own a CrossFit gym.
Yes.
Where was that located? What was the gym's name? Is it still there?
Hanford, California, Central Valley. It's still there. He opened it in 2009.
Okay.
And sold it in 2017.
And what was the name of it?
CrossFit Hanford.
Okay, cool. Do you guys ever go there anymore?
No, we don't. We're not really friends with many of the people there.
It's in a whole different community now and stuff. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. And your husband just retired from the fire.
Yeah,
he was a firefighter.
Fire captain for like 33 years.
And now he's just home all the time.
Yes.
He was doing jujitsu 5 days a week, but he hurt himself already. So now he's just home with you. Is he doing the workouts with you now? I know
right
I've
now
seen him
he's
like
not.
on and off
Yeah.
jump in sometimes.
He'll do Saturday like team workouts. He'll do with me once in a while. Right now he's doing literally nothing
Because he's injured.
Yeah.
Shoulder. Okay. I'm telling you, I think jujitsu is awesome, but when you jump into it as an over 25-year-old, everyone that I've seen jump in when they're like, 30 or plus,
Yeah, and he got
ends
excited.
up getting injured.
He got excited about it.
So just be careful.
He was going hard. He was going 5 days a week, 2-hour sessions, and then he got a private
2 hours.
a private jiu-jitsu coach that he was seeing on Sundays.
Oh my gosh. Was he like, what does he think he's going to join the MMA or something?
I don't know. It was probably just because it was like he said it was a new challenge for him.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
but
Great.
sadly.
So you had your gym in from 2009 until when did you guys sell it?
17.
Okay. But you were already a street parking member at this point then.
I was.
When did you
We
join?
were preparing to sell after the open.
Okay.
So I knew that I needed, and he didn't want to program anymore. And so I know he told me like, hey, I'm probably not going to program for you.
You didn't want to program for yourself?
No.
I can tell you what that program would look like.
No, I didn't think I would do a good job at programming for myself.
You would just pick your favorite
Yeah.
stuff over and over again.
Yeah, probably cherry pick. No squatting.
Just pull-ups and toast to bar every day. Okay, so how did you find out about street parking? Like, were you following me, or how did you? And then, do you remember the day that you joined?
Yeah, so I did my level 1 with you in 2015.
That's right, at the ranch.
At the ranch.
We have that
so
photo.
I followed you probably in 2013 or
Okay.
so. And then you were putting stuff out. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think the first thing you put out was like, well, I followed the Asada Boys too.
You did? For those of you guys that don't know what the Asada Boys is, it was basically Julian had his cousin and his cousin's friend that would work out with him in their garage, and they were not fit, but they were willing to go for it. And so he would put them through these workouts, and they were 2 Mexican guys, and Asada Boys was just like a play off of the fact that it was 3 Mexican dudes working out at their house, and he would put like funny like banda music to it and stuff, and it was just hilarious. But it was him showing the workouts they were doing at the house.
Yeah.
Okay. So you followed them, you followed me. When did you join? Before
I
it
joined-
started officially, or after?
Well, I joined.
I feel like you were after.
I want to say I started doing the workouts like maybe November, because you would post stuff
Mm-hmm.
on your Instagram. And then around Christmas time, I was like, I need to join. And so I want to say I joined, or was going to join like the 31st, but then I thought I'll just wait till the 1st. So January 1st,
So
2017.
you were not
No,
one of
it's
the
not.
first.
No.
I think like Michelle Brooks was
Yes.
before,
Yeah.
and Trish was before. A couple people.
like they were like late December. Yeah.
And Emma, I think, was even before.
really?
I think so.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Okay, so we have actually one thing that's really interesting, and I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, but we had something like 700 members join in the first month, and I want to say last time we checked, it was still like 250, 300 of them were still members, which I think is like really cool. And some of those people are still, they've been silent the whole time, but there's definitely this group of you guys that are just like known as like OGs. And we call, to your disgruntledness, okay, we call OGs anybody that joined the first year.
Yeah.
But really there is a group that's like recognizable, at least to us, as like these people have been around literally since the day we started, having an official program, which is really cool. Okay, so when you joined at first, because our thought process when we started it was, oh, this will be like a fun, like little side project thing that we're going to do, and we'll put out programming. And it wasn't even like remotely a percentage of what's going on. Like you're here at the office with us today. Like this was not even a thought in our mind.
Yeah.
For you, what was your like, oh, I'll just try it and see.
Well, so
What were
my
your
husband,
goals for it?
My goal was to do, like, I know enough about programming where hopping around is not the best idea. And my husband was doing comp train. It was way too much volume for me.
I remember that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I would film him.
I remember you
Still
talking to me
finishing a
about it.
workout,
Yeah.
and I was like already done with mine. But So I just wanted something.
Why was it too much
consistent.
for you? Like what? Because you were what, like 30? You were in your 30s. Like, what was it that was too much for you? Because I think oftentimes people think they should be doing that much or they want to do that much.
Well, yeah, it was like a conditioning, a Metcon.
Was it like a time
strength-
commitment too much,
Yeah.
or like you were feeling wrecked too much?
No, the time commitment was too much.
Okay.
But I mean, even the weights were like pretty heavy. Where
Yeah.
I would have had to alter the weights every single time.
Yeah.
So it was just too much.
Okay. Was it too much for your husband?
Yeah.
I feel like guys struggle with that even more than women.
He
like, they
eventually
feel-
bought master's programming, and I still feel like that was too much too. But I mean,
you gotta let him. You gotta. Hey, he's a peacock. You gotta let him fly. You know.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you started, what was your intention? Like, hey, I'm gonna follow this.
I
and
wanted
just
something consistent. I don't even think I thought, I'll just follow it for whatever amount of time.
Yeah.
I'm pretty loyal. So it's kind of like if I get into something and I like it, I'm probably staying for like ever.
Well, so before that, you had tried comp train a little
Mm-hmm.
bit. You had, and then other than that, you were just at your gym, and your husband was programming. So this was like number 2.
And I was
thing that
still
you tried.
coaching. I coached at our gym until July of 2017, and then I finally walked away. But I wasn't working out anymore. I was coaching the morning classes because that's when I worked from home. That's when they needed coaches because everybody else like had a job they went to.
Yeah.
So
When you started, what equipment did you have at your house?
we only had a few mats. We had one pair of dumbbells, 35.
Oh no!
But I mean, like I was using 35s a lot.
I
at that
remember
point.
so was I.
Yeah, especially since like the open. I want to say like a
That
couple
was the weight
years
they used.
They had just like started using dumbbells in the open.
2017 was like the first open where they were like dumbbell. I think it was super dumbbell heavy,
Yeah, it was. Yeah, 'cause
which
I
was like a
remember-
couple months after we started.
Yeah, it was like there's that burpee box jump over workout, and then
With the dumbbell snatches.
Yeah,
I was pregnant during that.
yeah. And then we did have bars because we took a
Some
bunch
from
of
the gym.
equipment. We had a lot of equipment
Okay.
actually, but I didn't use a lot. I mean, like we didn't have a rig, we didn't have a pull-up bar. We did have one pull-up bar in the back that he had brought from the firehouse. Other than that, it was like we have a little tiny garage.
Yeah, your garage is small. So if you've seen Christine's workout, sometimes she's outside and they have like a really cool rig set up outside. And then sometimes she's inside, but your garage you can tell it's small.
Yeah.
Before you started working out at home, when you were at the gym, did you work out by yourself or did you work out with other people? Did you go to the classes? What were you doing as far as that goes? Before street parking, like when you were still at the gym, when you would
okay.
work out, were you by yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, so you were already accustomed to training alone.
Yeah.
That wasn't a switch for you, because I think that's something that people struggle with too.
Well, I was at the CrossFit box. I mean,
Would you go to class?
group classes?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I did afternoon classes.
How was it then when you switched to working out by yourself?
It was really hard. Like I mean, this is bad. This is when we had the whiteboard, but I had to look at people's scores and really.
Oh, I know.
And
you don't have to
really-
say it's bad. Christine is one of the people that wishes we still had a whiteboard. It's okay.
Well, I used
leaderboard.
Wodified. I used Wodified to like, okay, what was the number
But we
one?
didn't also have as much information of like goal times and stuff
Right.
like that as we do now.
Yeah. I mean, well, you guys were pretty, like, I go back sometimes to 2017.
Some of the workouts were aggressive.
Some of them were like 35 wasn't even the RX weight.
We'd put, like,
It was
handstand push-ups in there and stuff.
40 was the RX weight for girls. And I was like, wow, I can't even believe it. But yeah, it was, I had to look at what other people,
To get an idea of what am I getting myself
of
into.
who I was. Honestly, back then, because I was a whole lot fitter, I feel like I was my fittest probably in 18 and 19, but I would look at who was first in their time,
Yeah.
and I would try to beat it.
So I remember my first memories of Christine, because there wasn't that many of us. I mean, way more than we expected, but not anywhere near what we have now. Like even if we had a leaderboard now, like the number of scores that you would potentially have to throw out because people accidentally entered it wrong or accidentally did the wrong number of rounds, or like it wouldn't be accurate really. Unless you knew the person, then you could be like, oh, there's so-and-so. I know they did it.
Yeah.
The
Or
same
they
way I
posted
did
like
it.
a video and you could see how they were set up or
which was
whatever.
one of the reasons where it's like, you're comparing your scores. You don't even know if the person, maybe they meant to hit 25 minutes and they accidentally hit 15. Like, you don't know. It could have been a typo. Who knows? Anyway, I digress. But I used to look at Christine's scores and be like, who is this freaking lady? Like, there's no way she's beating me. And I was pregnant and I was getting irritated that I was getting beat by you sometimes. And like, because this was my first pregnancy, I guess, had this assumption that I would always win every single workout because of my background and my history. And Julian would crush everybody. The guys for sure. And so it would I would be like, who is this person? Blah, blah, blah. And this was before Molly came in and just started annihilating everyone because she was still competing. And I straight up, I had issues with the whiteboard back then because I'd be like, this lady, there's no way she got this score. Like, who is this? And it's like what you do in the open where you're like now all of a sudden trying to find this person on social media and see if they're real and see how they move and like all of this stuff. But then obviously, at meetups and throughout the years, we've became good friends. And so, and I know how crazy fit you are. And I think that's super awesome. And one of my favorite things about street parking is we have some really fit people that you would just, they're so, not that you look really, really fit, but I think we have some really fit people that are super unassuming too. They'll just come in and crush these workouts. You're like, who is this person? When we did the open this year, Jake D'Angelo was a perfect example. I've never heard of him before in my life. And
I know,
he's
either had I.
1 rep shy of Julian on all these workouts. And he's just this random member.
Yeah.
Which was really cool. But I know that, the whiteboard, I would look for you specifically every time. I don't know that I can't even think of another person that there was every day that I would look for.
There was certain people on there, I'd see their videos and I'm like, oh, okay. You're pretty good.
Yeah.
let me go see what your score was.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of hard. We have an official page.
Are you in the women's group?
I am.
Okay. Cause there's a women's group and the men's group I know is the Wolfpack. What's the women's group called?
It's Fierce, unofficial Fierce females.
Are people can anyone join?
Yeah.
It's a Facebook group. And do you guys do the same thing that the Wolfpack group does?
I don't know what
I think the only scores that they submit officially are the vault.
Okay. We submit every day.
Every day. Okay.
Yeah.
I could be wrong about that with the Wolfpack, by the way. I don't.
Basically, whoever's moderating puts the date it is.
Is it a spreadsheet or just comments?
It's just comments.
How many people are in there?
There's a lot of people in there.
Are Mara and Ashley in there?
Not anymore. I think they used to be. There's a lot of people in there.
I should send Molly in there.
And not very many people post, though. We have
Are
a
they
lot.
just creeping on other people's? They just want to see their scores?
Maybe.
Do you post your videos in there?
No, I just post my scores. Basically, I post my score and what else I did that day.
Okay.
So that's what everybody does. Okay. Some people will comment I had a bad night or something, or I was sick, or
yeah.
But
do you have specific people in there now that you're that that you've
trying to think. There's maybe one girl that'll post and I'll look at hers and I'm like, okay.
Did you start this page?
No. No.
So I think one of the things that people can learn from you, and Blair's here this week too, and I don't know which podcast will come out first, is 3,000 workouts is a lot. And when we released the app or the platform, we switched to it being days that were counted. I mean, both are still counted, but as far as earning your 1,000 banner and all that stuff, it switched to days, which is what it was supposed to be the whole time. It's so funny because when we started street parking, it was oh, we'll make a program for people who are short on time. And then we would get all these people that were doing the workout and 4 accessories every day. And it was where do these people, how do you have so much free time? But even 2,000 days or whatever that you've done.
2,700.
2,700. And some of those are mixed in with some of the accessory stuff from before the app came out. But still, let's call it 2,000 days. That's, over the course of not even, this will be
6.5 years.
6 years. Yeah. We're at a little over 6 years, right? How have you found, what tips would you have for people to find consistency? Do you have ebbs and flows where sometimes you have to customize a lot? I know you've had some sciatic issues. Have you ever fallen off for like 2 weeks? I think the answer to that is no. And then, come back. How do you deal with when you're sick or when your husband's sick or when your kids have stuff going on? I think those are the things that would really help people, because I think if you're just starting out, or even if you're at 100 or 200 workouts, you think of 2,000 and it's just like, it seems so far away.
Right. I'm going to be honest.
Good.
I have probably worked out or done some kind of sport my entire life. So I don't really even think about it.
It's just part of your identity. It's who you are.
It's like part of my life. It's no different than
like brushing your teeth.
Right.
Like the example that we use a lot.
Yeah. And it feels so much better, especially at my age, to move than not to move. Especially with
Can I ask
like,
you how old you are?
I'm 44.
Okay.
Almost 45. Okay. But, I started street parking.
You were like 38?
37, I think. Yeah.
I remember when you started hashtagging fit at 40 and now it's fit over 40.
Yeah. So I didn't want to put my exact age in there. I just think, I don't know. And then, I've had like some really bad sciatica because I have a bad back. And so I still moved because I knew that not moving was not good for me.
What happens when you don't move? Like if you take like 2 days off, let's say.
I'm probably more stiff, harder to get back into it. I feel like I don't really take a lot. I take a full rest day on Sundays. Always, like there's no active rest day. There's like a full rest day, and I have highly scaled back how much volume I do.
Yeah.
Which, if you haven't tried it, I feel like it's really good for you.
So even when you were starting out with street parking, because what we used to have, and this is like we have many members now who never experienced it before the app when we just had Wi-Fi. What we used to have was the daily workout, just of what you guys are used to now. Shift actually only started out as 3 days a week and then it became 5. But we used to have weekly accessory suggestions. So instead of the extra programs, there were 7 of them, I think, but it wasn't even 7 at first.
No.
It started out with like 3 or 4.
We had any at first.
We didn't have any at first.
Yeah.
Then there was like, we could add like a lifting option that's like, hey, you could add this into your week. I think there was like an Oli option. Suns Out, Guns Out was one of the first ones because my friend Alex Rowland, who was on our team for the games, created the first series of that. And it was just going to be a summertime thing. And then people loved it so much. But by the end, we had 7 weekly suggestions, a sandbag, endurance. And so what, back then, you're saying that you would do more volume. What would it look like? Like, what were your days?
Probably the daily workout always. And I never...
You refuse to customize it at all.
I refuse to go out of order or customize.
Oh, okay.
Like I always go in order. I this week I didn't, but because I wanted to get my gymnastics in before I came here. But usually it's rare that
We're gonna throw you off because you did a random workout that's not even programmed for 3 weeks from now. Right. Tomorrow we're gonna do a Sisyphus workout. Like you're all
messed up. But before I would do probably like an accessory like every day.
You would basically almost do all 7 of them.
Yeah.
And
except endurance.
Okay, first, Christine will not be participating in 52-week endurance. Why is that? Why don't you like it?
I just think that I ran
did the marathons.
I ran half marathons.
You should do it on the rower or something.
For 6 years. I don't know how that would feel for my back. And also. I ran a lot though. Like we're talking like every other month I did a half marathon.
I would say that that's what I've noticed about you too, because I'm always confused. Like, how is Christine beating me? Because you're a lot smaller than me. And I'm just like, even when you're moving, I'm like, the weight looks so much heavier for her than it does for me. But your engine is just,
endurance.
From that, you have that base. Like even today when we were working out, I was like, you feel good now, but what's going to happen is Christine's heart rate's going to be lower than yours. And we ended up both being fine, but yeah, it's just that you never stop. Like we're all like break and take 10, 20-second breaks. You just motor through it always.
Yeah, and that's why I chew gum. I don't use chalk. I don't need to take a drink of water.
Even with like pull-ups and stuff
Nothing.
like that?
No. Well, sometimes with bar muscle-ups I will.
Because it's hot where you live in the summer too.
Yeah.
Sweaty.
Well, but
it's not that humid.
If I do gymnastics in the summer, it has to be in the morning. Or you're
because it's like
gonna burn.
degrees.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were doing basically the workout plus an accessory every single day. What was it that triggered that to change?
I was taking no rest days.
No Sunday. You were 7 days a week. We didn't program a workout on Sundays. We never have.
Found something to do.
Okay. Like one of the accessories or something? You'd say
Or
sandbag?
Or a different version.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. What about when you were at the CrossFit gym? Would you work out 7 days a week there?
No, just what we were opened.
So
I feel like when I left there, I wanted to prove something to everybody when I left.
See.
Because he sold his gym, but he didn't. We thought we were still going to continue to be a part of the gym and coach. And he was going to take a couple months off and get back into coaching. He just didn't want to run it anymore. It was a lot and a lot of drama. But that is not what the plan was for them when they took over. So
that's one of the nice things about working out at home.
Yeah.
We have drama in our group,
right,
for sure, but not nearly what you have
No.
what a lot of people experience in person at gyms sometimes. Okay, so what triggered the lowering of the volume? Like when did that start to filter out a little bit? I know you still do some of the accessories, but when did it start to lower?
I do at least 3 to 4 accessories a week still, but I don't really, I started lifting a lot more this year, but I still do the open every year. So I always want to make quarterfinals. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but what triggered the lowering of it? When were you like, I need to take a rest day and I don't need to do an accessory every single day?
When my back,
And how long ago was that?
That was in 2019, 2020. End of 2019, early 2020.
Do you know, so your back was bad before, but do you know what it was specifically that?
I was doing 35-pound dumbbells, every time I chose dumbbells. I never would do.
And you're not like a large person.
I never would do. I know, but it's together you don't even think about how it's 70 pounds.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just thought I can manhandle these.
So
dumbbells.
Do you feel like now that you mentally have gotten to a place where you're okay, even if the extra challenge says 35s, where you'll choose 25s on some workouts?
Yes.
How hard was that transition for you? Because I feel like a lot of people struggle with that knowing when it's okay. Just use, even though extra challenge is this many reps or this weight or whatever, this is appropriate for me.
I could tell my body wasn't recovering the way it recovered before. And I was just like, if I keep doing this, I'm just going to be down and out.
Straight up injured. Yeah.
So do I want to look long term, or do I want to prove something to somebody and wreck myself? So that's when I started. Okay, you're gonna have to do less weights. You just cannot go so heavy, especially every day. I remember you guys were having this talk about intensity, and I remember Julian when he would do the coffee, the
Jabas,
and he was like, "You don't need to be intense every day." And I was talking to the camera.
What a group!
I'm intense every day. How dumb! I'm gonna be intense. That is my life. But yeah, so I feel like I'm still intense, probably more than I should be, but I don't do very much either. I just do the workout usually. And
what are your go-to accessories that you do now? I know the gymnastics E-moms are one, and you would like me to create another series of those.
Well, because I feel like it just, I feel like you have to keep your skill, especially when you hit a certain age. I see that my husband, he can't do certain things anymore. But I feel like
if you just maintain a little bit of it, then it's still
your
there.
Body will still remember. And I feel like he took months off from things, and now he can't do them anymore. And I feel like I really want to be able to do them still as I get closer to 50.
Okay.
So, and then suns out, guns out, because you want to have big guns.
Okay, so you do a gymnastics E-mom, suns out, guns out. What are your other go-tos? You said you've been doing lifting?
Yeah, so I started adding in the 5-3-1 because it's not long.
Yes. Blair does the 5-3-1, and so do I.
Yeah.
Which movements do you do it with right now?
So I never bench press because I just feel like I'm already pretty strong upper body. I had an injury in 2016 with my Achilles, and I was in a boot So I like only did upper body stuff,
Yeah.
and I feel like it's just
I
not
did the same
ever
thing
gone
when
away.
I hurt my knee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but I try and do all of them now, like
Okay.
except
Do you add them in on separate days, or do you do like a lifting day?
I add them in.
Okay. Because I do the deadlift and the press together on Saturdays, and that's like all I'll do on Saturday. But yeah, that's cool. If I had more time.
Yeah. Like I'll do it in the morning.
Why is it that you've been doing more lifting? Like, what is the goal, or what spurred that for you?
Because as we age, we lose muscle mass.
Yeah.
And I've listened to so many podcasts
They've talked about it a lot.
Yeah, about increasing your strength training. So, and I wanted to do well in the open.
Yeah.
And I'm really surprised I'm lifting weights and squatting weights that I didn't think I'd ever get back to.
And your sciatica's been fine with the lifting.
Yeah.
The cool thing about 5312 is the volume is not that high,
Yeah.
which I really like. So yeah, that one's good. Have you ever done any of the Power 30 or the starting strength workouts? Because I like those ones too. They are a little bit longer.
I went through the starting strength workout when we did a challenge, and then we had to choose something. Like
It was
a
like
winter.
one of the like choose your own adventure
Yes.
challenges. Yeah.
And I hate squatting.
But you're doing the 531 squats.
So I chose the starting strength, and that was really hard for me.
Yeah.
It was like hard to work out on the same day because I had like zapped
Your
my
nervous
central
system.
nervous system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't
your
know.
Sciatica and stuff has been fine with your
Yeah.
extra lifting.
Well, I had an epidural injection in 2020.
Okay.
And it's been really good since then.
Cool.
But I have to like maintain my core and certain things in order to be able to, you know, not hurt myself.
So you've never taken like more than a couple days off. Have you ever been like sick or had something come up where it's required you to take more than how many days in the last 6 years do you think is the longest break that you've taken?
Probably like a week.
Okay.
For after I had my injection, they asked me not to work out.
You're
That's
just
it.
like, I mean, I feel like most of us have had like COVID or something like that. Were you sick? Did you just
Yeah.
work
So
through it?
when I got COVID, I had like a headache for a day, and that was it.
Do you remember how messed up Julian was? Oh my gosh.
Wasn't it like your whole family?
It was it was Julian and Lucy, and we were out of town.
Oh, okay, yes.
On a vacation, and I was pregnant with crew, and so I was taking care of Banner and Knox at a
yes.
vacation home while pregnant, and Julian and Lucy were like, I'm not kidding, they were useless. Like they might as well have not even been there. It would have been better if they weren't there because they were both so messed up. Like I was begging Julian just to like go outside and try to get some sun on his skin and stuff. It was
Get
the
some vitamin
craziest
D or
thing
something.
I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. I don't, and that's another thing. Like I was on a streak, like a 6-year streak of not getting sick, like not even with a cold, seriously. And then I got COVID.
When your sciatica was really acting up, what would you do to continue moving? Because I think that pain is really annoying, and it's
Yes.
all day long.
Yeah.
Those are the types of things that I think just frustrate people to the point where they just like stop, or they'll look at the week of workouts and they'll see like one that they feel like they could do comfortably. And they're like, well, I can't even do these workouts. Like, I forget it. What did you do during that time to be able to keep moving?
I remember I did a lot of like sandbag squats because it wasn't so much pressure. I stayed away from dumbbells because the pressure this way was what was killing me, but the barbell didn't hurt so bad. So I just like lightened everything. I did a lot of seated stuff.
How long was it? Did you have to do stuff like that for consistently?
Probably like a couple weeks
Okay.
because it was pretty bad. I had sciatica for 18 months.
Did you ever, I remember you talking about it all the time. Did you ever did it ever enter your mind, like maybe I need to work out a different way? Because sometimes we'll see people and they'll cancel their memberships or whatever, and it's totally fine. But they'll say like, this type of training is just too hard because I have XYZ knee issue or shoulder issue or whatever. And they have a hard time customizing it and just making it work. And they think that they need to go back and just do machines or elliptical train or whatever. Did it ever enter your mind during that, or any time when it's flared up on you, like, hey, maybe I should train a different way?
I mean, I've done CrossFit since 2012. I never have been to a global gym ever.
Really? You've never been a member of like a Gold's Gym or anything like that?
I went to a Gold's Gym to do CrossFit workouts in the back.
Okay.
That's how I started.
Nice. I used to do them at Gold's
but
Gym
never
too.
like I wouldn't even know what to do in a global gym. And then I played sports and did spin and I did like kickboxing, but I never did like global gym stuff. So I don't know. I just never. I've always done something, so that wasn't an option. Not to do anything.
Right.
So I don't know.
So you work from home? Have you worked from home the whole time that you've been a member?
No. 2015 I started working from home.
Okay. What's your daily schedule? Like what time do you wake up? What time do you usually work out? When do like you're eating? I feel like I would love for people to hear an example of it. Because, those are the types of questions that people get. They try to figure out how to schedule everything.
Yeah. So I wake up at 4:30 because I start work at 4:30 in the morning.
Just one of those people. Oh, your work starts at 4:30.
Yeah. I start early because I want to be done early.
Okay, you don't have to work at 4:30.
No, I can work whenever I want. I just have to do 8 to 10 hours of work a day. But I schedule my work so I'm working Sunday through Saturday. So I work every day. But I wake up at 4:30. Get 5 hours of work in, and then at 9:30 I'll go out to the gym and decide if I'm going to do an accessory or if I'm going to do the daily.
Okay.
If it's gymnastics, I won't do it until the afternoon because my body
Takes a while to warm up.
is not ready for hanging on the bar.
Yeah. It's hard in the morning.
But yeah, I'm pretty like strict in my schedule. So wake up at 4:30, eat at 7:30, work out at 9:30. Then I go back to work. And then if I decide to do something in the afternoon, it's around 3:00.
Okay, so sometimes when you're doing like an accessory, you're separating it you're not doing them together.
Yeah, I do it like it's usually 5 or 6 hours apart.
Okay. Why do you separate them? Like, what's the benefit for you to that?
Well, I want to do well in the Metcon.
Okay.
So that's usually why I decide which one I'm going to do first. I don't like doing if I do an accessory after the Metcon, it's always after.
Yeah, not before. You don't want to mess
yourself up. Because that's like my main focus.
Yeah,
is doing well.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's like benefit too to like I don't know, if separating it out so it doesn't feel like it's taking so much of your day, or like obviously every time you work out, I think it's funny that people think like, oh, working out is going to make me more tired. Like people who struggle with being tired. And it's like, it usually has the opposite effect, at least for a couple hours afterwards. It kind of wakes you up. So if you split it up, you have 2 times a day that you're like energizing yourself a little bit. Now that changes a little bit when it's hot. You try to do it all in the morning. When
it's hot, I usually do nothing in the afternoon because I mean, like it's
hot.
Crazy hot. Yeah. I mean, you could work out in the garage, but you're gonna it's still gonna be hot.
Yeah.
I have 2 fans on me if I work out then. But our pull-up bar in the garage still gets very hot, even though it's in the garage. It's like not on direct sun.
Yeah.
But you can't work out outside at all. I mean, you can, but it's going to be really hot. Yeah. It's probably not the safest in over 100 degrees.
The gum is not going to cut it. You're going to need some water.
No, I never need water.
Okay, so and then so that's 6 days a week pretty much. Mm-hmm. But you're saying only 3 days is 3 or 4 times a week where you'll do more than one thing.
Yes.
And when you do that, they're separated into 2 sessions. Mm-hmm. If something changed in your life and you had to work outside of the home, and you had to do your workouts all in one session, do you think that you would keep the 3 to 4 accessories, or do you think you would like drop even more of those and just do the daily workout?
I would probably drop some of the accessories and do the daily.
Yeah, because what you said earlier was like, I lowered my volume, and if you haven't tried that, I think you should try it. So why do you think people should?
Because I think people get into a pattern of thinking like, okay, this is how I look and I want to stay looking this way. And I need to get this in. I need to get my whatever accessory workout in, or I'm going to change the way I look. But really, I don't think that's how it works. I think your body is used to, you doing something. And as long as you're doing something, you're going to be fine.
Yeah. Do you think that people struggle with, like you're saying, the like main workout of the day is my main focus and I want to be able to like really do well or like go hard at that. What I have found is that people who try to do too much, like whether it's something before or even if they know they're going to do something after, or maybe they're trying to do like the workout and then an endurance workout after, they end up not going hard in the actual main like thing. Because they're either like, oh, well, I'm tired because I just lifted, or, oh, well, I don't want to go too hard because then I'm not going to be able to do my endurance or my whatever. And so they pull back on the main thing.
Yeah.
And I just feel one of our things that we keep trying to like encourage people is like, we're all about people doing accessories. If they're consistent and if they're recovering and they just enjoy working out, that's why we have all that stuff. But it's not there because we feel like you should do it. And if you're not consistent and you're not going hard in the workouts, then you shouldn't be adding extra stuff in.
Yeah. Or, I mean, like, I feel like if you think you have to do certain things, that you're going to burn yourself out, for one. I don't ever want to, I don't think I would burn out, but if I was in my head telling myself, oh, I didn't get, like, I was supposed to get 5-3-1 and I didn't get it in. Yeah. And then it screws you up. I mean, I just feel like don't overthink it. It's like your body just wants to move. Yeah. But I train my neighbors sometimes, and I just like, just be as intense as you can be for yourself, like for your level. Yeah. And then it's like different. You're going to see the results. Like, yeah. As long as, you're eating somewhat healthy. Right. Because that's even day to day. Like some days you're like, I feel good, I'm going to go. Like usually I'll try to do the vault on Monday because it comes after a rest day. And Julian and I go to breakfast on Monday, and I get my little like cheat meal, French toast breakfast. So I know I'm like, I have lots of calories and everything, and I go for it on the vault. And usually that works out for me, but like it's not how it is every day. And some days I'm like barely want to work out at all. So I know that, but you just do it. Or some days you look at the workout and you're like, fine. Yeah. Anytime it has wall balls. And I still do the workout, even though so that's that's a good thing to talk about. There are certain movements that you just like disdain. Wall balls being one of them, because you don't love squatting and you're not very tall. No. Many of our members would probably just not do those workouts or do one of the other versions. Maybe they'll do the single dumbbell thruster, or they'll do, they'll skip it entirely or whatever. You don't do that. Even though you'll complain about it, you'll send me messages and all of this. Like, why do you still do those? And like, how do you get yourself to do those? So when I started in 2017, I told myself, you're just going to do the daily, just like you did when you went to the CrossFit box. Like, you're going to do the daily and you're going to commit to it. And it doesn't matter what it is, you're doing the daily. And I've never not done the daily. Like, even if it's stuff I hate, because I know it's programmed a certain way. Mm-hmm. And I know that it's good for me to like deal with the stuff I don't. Because otherwise you can just like get in a really bad pattern of avoiding things. Yeah. And something that you didn't jump around and start and then if you get in the pattern of jumping around. Overuse of like the same stuff. Yes. And now it's like, we'll just use the wall ball example. Like, you already didn't like it because it's hard for you because you're not very tall and you don't like squatting. But the more you avoid it, the worse you're going to be at it. Mm-hmm. And now it's just gone forever because you never want to touch it again. You know what I mean? And so I think there's like such a benefit to like mentally and physically, obviously, but mentally to like being willing to do something that you don't love. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. That's how I got with the rowing program that I was doing. Like, it was like by the end, I was just like, I'm committed to this. And I would still put everything into it when I would do it. But I was like, and I think it's really cool. And I've talked about this a lot, where it's more impressive to me, just regular people that will stick to it and follow it like what you do. Because there's no reason to, other than like, I'm doing this for myself. Right. Like, you're not worried you're going to show up to a competition and you need to be ready to do wall balls. Right. You're just doing it because you feel like there's physical and mental benefit to following it and making sure that you have as well-rounded of fitness as possible. Yeah. Because we can easily talk ourselves out of it. Like with the rowing program, I could have been like, nobody's going to notice or care if you stop doing the rowing program.
Julian's not going to ask you about it. Sure, there are some members that probably know that you're doing it, but if you let it go long enough, they're going to forget. Like you don't have to finish this, you know, and you start having those conversations in your head. And it's like, no. Like I committed to this, you know, I want to be good at it. I chose to do it for a reason. So I'm just going to stick with it. I think that that's super valuable.
Yeah. And I feel like, especially like the last fall it was unbroken wall balls. And I was just you're going to like, you can do this. Like, it's not that hard. Just do it.
Yeah. And I love it when we program stuff like that in, because it takes people who have been doing this stuff for so long, who know how to game it and still get a good score, but not ever actually really get as uncomfortable as they could be getting. Right. So
yeah, I definitely, if it said 25 wall balls, I definitely would be like breaking
15 and 10.
Yes.
You know, like you come up with your little plan that works for you.
13 and 12. I'm like, you can do 13. You'll be fine.
I felt the same way with the farmer carry on that, because the extra challenge was to do that part unbroken too, which I would never do. I would always put the dumbbells down on the turnaround, halfway, even if it was not like for very long. And then I would turn around my body and then pick them back up. But I was like, no, I got to do it, because I was giving DH so much crap for breaking it.
You should put more workouts like that in.
Yeah, people need it.
I feel like mentally, I feel like I'm always talking to myself in my head during workouts.
You at least try to do something that you would never have tried before.
Like today.
Even if you fail, you at least try to do something that you would never have attempted otherwise, which is really cool. What are your your goals for yourself? I know you said you want to be able to do certain skills and stuff like that as you get closer to 50. Are you, do you have any other specific goals other than just to maintain consistency, maintain your muscle mass, be healthy? Like, do you cycle through waves? So like right now you're doing, more lifting. I know you're not ever going to want to do more endurance, but do you go through like seasons with that stuff?
I feel like I do. I feel like I try to balance stuff as best I can. And I can tell, like, if we do a workout and it calls for something heavy and I don't feel so great in that workout, I know, like, okay, you got to like start deadlifting again, or you got to start squatting again. So I just want to not get injured.
Right.
And it's been like 3 years of no sciatica.
Just knock on the desk.
Yeah. And I don't want to, I mean, I've had overuse stuff, and I know, like, I feel like when you hit a certain age, you know, like as soon as something starts to bother you.
Here's the thing. Everybody that's over a certain age, I don't know if that age is 30 or 35 or whatever.
Yeah.
You are going to have aches and pains. It could be because of some injury that you got participating in life, or because you've just been sitting your whole life. Like, there's no avoid. I really don't think that there's any avoiding it, but being smart when it comes up. Yeah. To not make it worse.
To not make it worse so that you're out for a while. And so far I've been good, but I don't do, I mean, like, I feel like I do. It's funny. My husband says, I feel like you're afraid of everything else in life, but when you do, workouts, you're not ever afraid of the stuff you do, and you can really get, you know, you could fall off the bar. You could.
No, you're gonna be fine.
All this other stuff, and I'm like, I don't even like think about that.
You've been doing it so much that, like, the thought of you falling off you would have to have like some sort of, like, I don't know, you'd have to black out or something. Like, it's no different than, like, I don't think about as I'm walking down the street that I'm just gonna like fall walking like my 1-year-old does. Like, I've been walking my whole life. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like that, where I remember it's the same thing that I used to answer when I was pregnant, and I would still do like box jumps or like keeping pull-ups and stuff. It's like it's different for someone like me than it is for somebody who had maybe only been doing it for like a year before that. Like, it's so second nature to me. And there was definitely things that I cut out, but you can't compare people. Like, you've been doing it for so long. Yeah. I mean, we could crash our car every time we drive too. Oh, yeah. He's the one that's injured.
Yeah, that's true.
What advice, if you had like one or a couple pieces of advice for members who would love to like find the consistency that you've found? And there's already been so many that we've talked about, but anything that we haven't talked about, or one thing that you would want people to take away, if you could like say one thing to help as many street parking members as possible, what would it be? I probably should have told you that I was going to ask you that.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that I would just say you don't have to do everything. Like, start somewhere and like start with the daily and do the daily for a certain amount of time.
And stick to it. You think trying to do it, and maybe not everybody's going to do 6 days, and that's fine. Do 5 of them, but try to do them in order as much as possible.
Yeah. I mean, that's my neighbor just started street parking a couple months ago, and just getting the daily done. And like, if you have a list of things that you do every day, make that be one of them.
Yeah.
That there's no negotiation. Like I have older kids now, but my husband and my son know that I'm going to work out at least once a day, and anything else that's planned will have to go at a different time of that day.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm flexible sometimes, but they know like that's what I do.
But that's true even for us. Like, it's not, are you going to work out today? Very rarely is that the question, unless it's a day that's normally a rest day. The question is, what time are you going to work out today, or what workout are you going to do today? Yeah. It's no different than what are you going to have for dinner, or what do you want to have for lunch?
Yeah.
It's just such a normal thing. And, it's like almost like weird if one of us is like, I think I'm not going to work out today. It's like, why?
Yeah, my husband that won't even, like, he knows what's your workout today? Like, what are you doing? I don't know. I feel like you just get in this pattern. I'm very like strict in my routines. It's hard. I mean, like when I'm traveling, I know I'm going to get off that, but it's not the end of the world at all.
You don't like panic about it.
No.
You're not like the person like I used to be when I would travel, obviously when I was competing, and I was like, my whole even vacation schedule revolved around when I was going to work out and where I was going to work out and what I was going to do. You don't?
No.
Okay.
In fact, I feel like sometimes I'll go somewhere on vacation. I went somewhere recently. Oh, my daughter's graduation, and I didn't work out the whole I mean, we were only there for 2 days, but I didn't feel like, I need to go down to the gym. Yeah. It was fine. Like, it's fine.
I think the other thing that's cool with you sharing your story and like your journey with street parking is like expecting that there's going to be setbacks, expecting that there's going to be like, you said that you had a 6-week or whatever period of time where you were heavily customizing things, but you never stopped. Like, expecting those things to never come up, whether it's a busy season at work or a kid that needs a lot of extra attention, or you're moving or deployment, like whatever, like know that those things are going to come up, and just know that you can still keep going through it, and not feel like because your volume is lower or you're using lighter weight, you're having to maybe you do shift for like a whole 6 months where normally you would never do shift because of whatever's going on. Like, the consistency is the most important thing.
Yeah.
Because if you would have taken 6 weeks off during your sciatica, like it would have been so much harder for you to get back going.
I think it would have been painful to get back going.
And then it's just frustrating too, because you would have lost so much fitness, where people, I think it's funny, right? So they'll be like, well, I don't want to do the easier version or lower weight because I'm going to lose my fitness. And it's like, well, what's the alternative?
Nothing.
Yeah. Because you're going to lose so much more.
Yeah.
And so, I think any member who's been a member for this long, or any person that's been doing fitness for like, I would say more than a year, will have those stories of like, if they've been consistent, they'll have their times that they would share. So expect that, and know that it's normal, and it's going to happen like time and time again, sometimes for longer, sometimes, for whatever. But I think that a lot of our members look up to you guys that have been around for a really long time. And I know your Instagram's private, but do you let people in if they have a key in their bio?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Mrs. Christine Ann?
Yes.
You used to be Princess Christine, didn't you?
No, that's my email.
Okay. Princess Christine.
From high school.
It's funny that I remember that. Mrs. Christine Ann on IG, but you post a lot of your stuff on Facebook too. Okay.
I do both.
Well, when the workout comes out, we were teammates, and it was super fun. And it was great to finally like have you come out here and be with us. So
really, I'm so happy that I got to come out.
The day that Christine cancels her membership is the day that we close our doors. So even if she's the only person left, we'll keep it all going. The lights on. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.